Have you ever heard of a ghost ship? Not the Hollywood kind, but real vessels, cargo ships, yachts, found adrift, everything in place except for one thing: the crew, gone without a trace. These aren't just sailors' tales, they're documented mysteries that have baffled investigators and inspired chilling theories. From crews frozen in terror to yachts left as if their owners just stepped away, these stories are some of the most unsettling you'll ever hear. Each discovery raises more questions than answers, painting a picture of sudden, inexplicable events in the most isolated place on Earth, the open sea. Today, we'll dive into 7 of the most infamous and creepy real-life ghost ship cases, exploring the clues, the theories, and the haunting questions that remain. So, before we begin, invite the like button to join our search party, and let's get into these strange and terrifying stories. Our first story takes us back to the chilling winter of December 1872, a time when the Atlantic was a vast, unpredictable expanse, and every voyage was a leap of faith into the unknown. It was here, near the remote Azores, that the crew of the British brig Dei Gratia spotted a ship drifting aimlessly on the horizon. The vessel was the Mary Celeste, a name that would soon become synonymous with maritime mystery. Captain David Morehouse, a seasoned sailor and friend of Mary Celeste's captain Benjamin Briggs, felt a cold shiver run down his spine as he recognized the ship. The Mary Celeste was adrift, her sails set but flapping uselessly, as if abandoned by all hands. After repeated attempts to hail her, when unanswered, Morehouse ordered a boarding party. The men rowed across the choppy water, hearts pounding with dread and curiosity, and climbed aboard the silent, unmoving vessel. What they found was deeply unsettling. The Mary Celeste was completely seaworthy, her hull intact, but her only lifeboat was missing, gone without a trace. Inside the captain's cabin, Benjamin Briggs's personal effects were untouched. His wife's sewing machine sat quietly, and their young daughter's clothes were neatly folded, as if waiting for her return. The crew's quarters told a similar story: beds unmade but undisturbed, money and tobacco left in plain sight. There was no sign of a hurried escape or violence. The ship's logbook, the last voice of the crew, contained an entry from 10 days earlier. It described nothing out of the ordinary: no storms, no threats, just the routine of life at sea. Down in the galley, provisions were plentiful. There was enough food and fresh water to last for months, suggesting the crew had not planned to leave for long, if at all. The cargo hold was nearly full, with over 1,700 barrels of industrial alcohol. Only 9 barrels were found empty, but there was no evidence of theft or tampering. There were no signs of struggle, no blood, no broken furniture, nothing to suggest panic or violence. It was as if the entire crew, 10 souls in all, had simply vanished into thin air. The question haunted everyone who saw the ship: why would an experienced captain, with his wife and child aboard, abandon a perfectly sound vessel in the middle of the unforgiving Atlantic, risking everything in a small lifeboat? Theories swirled: mutiny, pirates, even sea monsters. Yet nothing was stolen, and the ship's valuables were untouched. The Mary Celeste was a ghost ship, but not a crime scene. The most enduring theory is that alcohol fumes from the cargo seeped into the ship, leading Captain Briggs to fear a catastrophic explosion. Perhaps he ordered everyone into the lifeboat as a precaution, planning to return once the danger had passed. But something went terribly wrong, and the crew was lost forever. Yet every explanation leaves gaps. There is no evidence of an explosion, and the weather was calm. The Mary Celeste remains a riddle, her decks echoing with silence and unanswered questions. To this day, the fate of the Mary Celeste's crew is one of the sea's greatest unsolved mysteries, a story frozen in time, preserved like a tomb on the endless ocean, with no answers, only the haunting whisper of the waves. Our next tale blurs the line between fact and legend, weaving a story that has haunted sailors and historians for decades. This is the chilling account of the SS Orang Medan, a name that echoes through maritime lore as one of the sea's most enduring mysteries. In 1947, ships navigating the busy waters of the Strait of Malacca intercepted a series of frantic Morse code messages. The transmission was brief, but its message was unforgettable. All officers, including captain, are dead. Possibly whole crew. Dead. I die. The operator's final words sent a chill through every listener. The American merchant ship Silver Star was the first to respond, racing through the haze to locate the source of the distress call. They soon spotted the Orang Medan, eerily adrift and completely silent, with no signs of life on deck. Boarding the ghostly vessel, the rescue crew was met with a horrifying sight. The entire crew lay dead, their bodies frozen in grotesque positions, faces twisted in terror, eyes wide open, and arms reaching out as if fending off some invisible horror. Even the ship's dog was found lifeless, its teeth bared in a final snarl, as if it too had witnessed something unspeakable. Strangely, there were no wounds, no blood, and no evidence of violence, just inexplicable sudden death that left investigators baffled. The air aboard the Orang Medan was unnaturally cold, especially near the cargo hold, where a chilling fog seemed to linger, defying the tropical heat outside. As the Silver Star crew prepared to tow the derelict ship to port, thick smoke suddenly began to pour from the lower decks, forcing everyone to evacuate. Without warning, the Orang Medan exploded in a violent blast, fire and debris raining down as the ship quickly sank beneath the waves, erasing nearly all physical evidence. With the ship lost to the depths, no official investigation could ever be completed, and the case was left unsolved. Theories have swirled for years. Some suggest a deadly chemical leak, others whisper of paranormal forces or secret cargo gone wrong. Each explanation only deepens the enigma. With the Orang Medan now resting on the ocean floor, its secrets remain hidden, as elusive and haunting as the ghost ship itself, a mystery that may never be solved. In 1955, the MV Joyita, a sturdy motor vessel, set out from Samoa bound for the remote Tokelau Islands, carrying 25 people, crew, passengers, and cargo. The journey should have been routine, but the ship never arrived at its destination, vanishing without a trace in the vast expanse of the South Pacific. Over a month later, the Joyita was discovered drifting aimlessly, partially submerged yet still afloat thanks to its cork-lined hull, which made it nearly impossible to sink. The vessel was found hundreds of miles off course, battered by the elements and eerily silent. The scene on board was chilling. The ship was completely deserted, no sign of the crew, passengers, or even their bodies. It was as if everyone had simply vanished into thin air, leaving behind only questions. The logbook, navigation tools, and all 4 life rafts were missing, suggesting a hurried abandonment. The ship's bridge was stripped of vital equipment, hinting at a desperate attempt to survive or escape. The radio was found tuned to the international distress frequency, but a broken wire rendered it useless. Despite repeated attempts to call for help, their pleas went unheard, lost in the static of the open ocean. Clocks throughout the ship had stopped at exactly 10:25, a detail that hinted at a sudden, possibly catastrophic event. Whatever happened, it struck swiftly, freezing time in its tracks. A doctor's bag was found on deck, its contents scattered and bloodied bandages inside. Someone had clearly been injured, but there was no evidence of a struggle or violence, deepening the mystery. In the engine room, mattresses had been draped over one of the engines, possibly in an attempt to smother a fire or block toxic fumes. Yet, investigators found no signs of fire or smoke damage. The lower decks were flooded, the bilge pumps clogged with debris, and a broken pipe had allowed seawater to pour in. The ship was slowly taking on water, but not enough to sink her. Theories about the fate of the Joyita abound. Some suggest panic over the flooding, others whisper of mutiny, piracy, or even intervention by unknown forces. Each theory only adds to the enigma. To this day, not a single trace of the 25 souls aboard has ever been found. The MV Joyita remains one of the Pacific's most haunting and enduring maritime mysteries, a puzzle that may never be solved. January 1921, the Carroll A. Deering ran aground on North Carolina's Diamond Shoals. Its sail's tattered crew vanished. Rescue teams found food laid out in the galley, as if a meal was about to be served. Lifeboats and the logbook were missing, but personal belongings remained. The steering gear was smashed, the rudder dislodged, deliberate sabotage perhaps. The crew had been seen days earlier, acting strangely, with a man other than the captain communicating with a lightship. Theories swirl. Mutiny, piracy, even paranormal forces linked to the Bermuda Triangle. No evidence ever surfaced, and the fate of the Deering's crew remains a chilling enigma from the graveyard of the Atlantic. Ghost ships aren't just relics of the past. In 2007, the Kaz-2, a modern catamaran, was found adrift off Australia. 3 experienced sailors had vanished, leaving the engine running, a laptop on, and a meal set out. Video footage showed the men in good spirits just hours before. The official theory: one man fell overboard, the others tried to save him, and all were lost, leaving the boat to drift. But questions linger. Why were safety measures ignored, and why was the table set so neatly if the sea was rough? The Kaz-2 remains a modern ghost ship mystery, proof that the ocean's secrets endure. In 2006, Australian officials found a rusted tanker adrift, the Jianseng. No crew, no identification, and all records erased. The only clue: a massive pile of loose rice in the hold. The ship's engines were dead, and it had clearly been under tow before the line snapped. Most believe it was an old vessel being towed for scrap, abandoned when the tow failed. But the rice hints at possible illegal activity, maybe human trafficking or smuggling. The Jianseng was scuttled, its true story lost to the deep. Our final story is the legend of the SS Beichimo, the ghost ship that refused to die. Trapped in Arctic ice in 1931, the crew abandoned her, believing she'd be destroyed. But the Beichimo broke free and began decades of wandering the Arctic, sighted again and again. Always empty. Inuit hunters, prospectors, and even salvage crews boarded her, but she always slipped away. The last confirmed sighting was in 1969, 38 years after abandonment. No one knows if she finally sank, or still drifts beneath the polar ice, a true phantom of the North. From the Mary Celeste to the Beichimo, these ghost ships challenge our understanding of the sea's power and mystery. Each vessel is a clue to an unsolvable crime, a reminder of how quickly people can vanish without a trace. Was it mutiny, pirates, the supernatural, or just tragic accidents? Theories abound, but answers are few. The ocean keeps its secrets well. Which story creeped you out the most? For me, the Orang Medan is pure nightmare fuel. Share your theories in the comments, and if you enjoyed these tales, hit like and subscribe for more mysteries of the deep. Thanks for watching.